Well, winning in Holland ain't for everyone, is it? Poor old Spursy, eh? Poor old Spursy. Anyway, I just want to drop that one in first and foremost. Seeing the old Spurs getting done in Holland was a very good start to the evening. And it's got even better now because it's the Elsmuggo and Brooksy show, and we have two legends of the game on tonight. So I've got Johnny Brooks on my right, and down below I've got Jonathan Joel. So firstly to Mr. Brooks, good evening. How are you, mate?
I'm very well. It's I'm much more upbeat, Johnny Brooks, last week. It's funny what a few goals will do in it, eh?
Well, yeah. Last week it was should I say it? Slash your wrist time.
It wasn't. It's just depressing. I mean, no one could foresee this result. Everyone was predicting 0-0s or 1-0 or us to lose. It's amazing. Football's an amazing game. It's why we love it. For nights like that, it's brilliant. It's been a very, very good week.
And down below, Mr. Giles, how are you doing, Jonathan? Are you all good?
Not too bad, lads. I'm in 7 heaven, so doing really well. It's amazing what a few goals, as Brooksy said. It's from the lows to the highs. I wouldn't have it any other way. And roll on the quarterfinals, lads. Could be a trophy in it yet.
Got a little trivia question for you. Give me the score if you put a black ball in snooker.
7.
There might be a few of them this evening.
Why not?
Mr. Brooks, what's your favourite drink? What's your favourite drink, mate?
It's 7-Up. What's Len Goodman's favourite score in Strictly? 7.
How many mates does Snow White have?
7.
What was that film? The Magnificent.
Oh, we're bang on form tonight. We're bang on form. As you can see, obviously very happy about the Arsenal performance in PSV. Totally shut down that carnival on Tuesday evening. So let's go into the discussions about it. I'm going to go with you first, Jonathan. Obviously, we've been a bit low after what's kind of happened over the last 2 weeks with the West Ham shocking performance at the Emirates and then the 0-0 draw at Forest, which probably wouldn't have been deemed a bad result if the West Ham performance had not been played out before that. Going into this game, was you confident that being in Europe and being against a totally different opponent, that we could go out and express ourselves the way we did in the end?
I'll be honest with you, after the West Ham and Nottingham Forest performances, I didn't see us getting definitely not banging 7 past PSV. I think even away from home, even surprised me even more, Liam and Brooksy. It's just you could kind of see glimpses of, with no strikers, what we were trying to do against Forest. Even though it was 0-0, you could see we were trying different things and it just didn't come off. You could see Timber and Moreno at the back post had a couple of, near misses that were saved by the Forest keeper Sells, but I think that early miss by PSV that hit the crossbar, like Gabriel, I think, got a bit on and it went out. I think that was huge. I think if they went 1-0 up, it could have been a different scenario. The PSV fans getting behind them and making it more of a hostile atmosphere. But I think that miss gave us the kick up the backside. After that, we were really on. Shortly after, I think we scored the first goal from Yori and Timber. It was just, Skelly and Weary teaming up for that second goal as well. It was great to see the two Hayland boys getting in on the act again. And Moreno scored and Odegaard with a brace as well. Great to see a smile back in his face, like the old Odegaard that we all love. kind of new lease of life. I think that could give him, after that performance, definitely my man of the match from Tuesday night. But definitely didn't see that type of performance the way we blitzed PSV. You know, I thought they were kind of a bit naive. PSV, you know, they let us play through them a bit. You know, there was not really the low block that we expected, and that suited us really fine. You know, and you know, it just lines up for a kind of an exhibition second leg now, doesn't it, lads? You know, it's the hard work all but done, thank God.
Yeah, definitely. And another trivia question for you, Jonathan. Can you tell me the Saka's shirt number?
I think if I'm right, I don't want to give it away or anything. It's a 7.
Cool, you boys are on the buzzer tonight. You're absolutely on the buzzer.
Why isn't there any spot prizes in this show, Brooks?
Oh, mate. Points mean prizes, mate. Points mean prizes.
I spent all my money on 7-Up, sorry.
Oh, you got a 24 pack as well.
Yeah, go on.
I think that was £7. Is that right?
Yeah. Obviously some really good points raised there. And I suppose one of the biggest ones for me, John, we're going over to you, was Odegaard's performance on Tuesday night. That was Odegaard back to his very best. Do you know what I mean? On Tuesday night, and like literally nearly everything went through him. I thought he was unplayable at times, and it was great to see him like that because I think, like, obviously we've been quite open about his kind of performances over the last 2 months, and they have dipped. But if we're going to stand a chance in terms of progressing in Champions League beyond the quarterfinals, we're going to need him in top form and win, and obviously pushing on the boys.
Definitely. We said it last week, didn't we? You know, I was moaning about his beard and something needed a change. Yeah, no, he's brilliant. I mean, you know, Giles has already said they were fairly naive. PS3, they gave us so much time and space on the ball. Like, we couldn't believe our luck, and licking your lips. And, you know, it's the ultimate confidence booster for Odegaard. You know, a lovely tap in. You know, he couldn't miss. I mean, the second goal, I think he probably should have saved it, but at least he's shooting. And he's actually shooting on target. You know, he's actually, you know, getting back to, you know, because he likes to pass the ball, and which is great. But sometimes you do need to put your foot through it. You know what I'm saying? And the last goal, that assist, that beautiful little through ball, you know, that's what he does all day long. And, you know, give Calafiori his due as well. We said this last week, he likes being up there. He makes all the right moves and. But yeah, no, going forward, I mean, yeah, Odegaard, if he can carry this on, mate, we're laughing because, as you said, he's the main man. So if he can carry on this now to the end of the season, it gives us a good chance. So we can ask.
Yeah, definitely. And a little trivia question for you, Mr. Gooner. Do you know what league position Bournemouth are in at the moment in the Premier League?
You just got that. That's amazing.
Absolutely correct, mate. Another point for you. Yeah, like obviously, I thought he was absolutely outstanding on Tuesday, and it kind of beggars the question, don't it? Really, like where has this Martin Odegaard been? Because we know what he's capable of. We know that he can chip in with goals, and it's been one of them seasons where I think like. We know things have not gone right on the pitch for us at times. A lot of stuff has kind of spiraled out of control in certain aspects, whether it's the red cards, whether it's some of the performances, etc., etc. But I mean, we know he had his injury, and then we come back, he's had the baby and all that, and I guess it all kind of does add up. But when you see him in that form, then the rest of the team clicks. Do you know what I mean? Like, I thought Trossard had a really good game on the left-hand side, and that's one of his best performances I've seen. One area, look, we'll probably get onto him a little bit later. Like the geezer's got the world at his feet, in my opinion. Like the kid is going to be absolute top draw, and we just got to continue to let him blossom, but also at the same point, not put the pressure on him to think that he's going to be that player who can kind of bail us out every time at the moment, because we do need to remember he's only 17 years old. We do need to remember he is going to have his quiet games, and do you know what? I didn't think he'd actually done anything wrong. I thought he was very good on Tuesday, but you know what? It was good seeing us not talking about him. It's good that we're talking about someone else. We're talking about another player who's obviously quite mainstream to the way we play and the way we perform. And I just think with a Martin Odegaard in top form, I don't see us getting beaten much. And I think he just pulls all the pieces together. He gets Declan Rice playing better. Do you know what I mean? Thomas Partey's got less pressure on him because we're retaining the ball, we're keeping the ball, we're making things happen. So yeah, I think seeing that performance really kind of encouraged me. Like, do I think the league's done with? Yeah, I do think the league's done with, but we've still got to finish the season strongly in there. We still need to finish strong second, and we need to finish with as many points as we possibly can over the last, how many games is it? 12, 13 games? And there's some big games there. Like, we've got a big game Sunday against at Old Trafford. We're looking at Chelsea next week. They're big rival games. Do you know what I mean? Like, we need to be up for them games. And what I don't want us to do is get into this kind of mindset and think that we just got to turn up for the Champions League games now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want us to kind of lose distraction because, like, we should get top four. We should get second place. But if you don't pick up the points, and a couple of teams start picking up points, and Man City look like they're on their way back a little bit, do you know what I mean? That could be at jeopardy a little bit. So, yeah, it was really good to see the performances, but I do pretty much want to see this backed up on Sunday because, yeah, it was nice. And, yeah, we played really well. And, yes, PSV didn't play that great whatsoever. Absolute horrific. But we need to back it up Sunday. We have to back it up Sunday. We have to make that performance trigger us to go to Old Trafford. And, look, they played a game tonight in Spain. They got to travel back.
Yeah, we have 48 hours rest.
Exactly. So we've got to be looking at them little things, but it's the performance nice, the performance really good, but I think Sunday is massive in terms of backing it up. So I think if we back it up Sunday, I think the confidence that will give us. Look, we know Man United are not good form, but winning at Old Trafford's always special for us. Do you know what I mean? It's always a ground that we have to go to. We have to try and win there because the rivalry. And the rivalry will be there Sunday. And Man United, for how bad they've been this season, they still seem to turn up against the bigger teams. Beat Man City away, do you know what I mean? Drew against Liverpool at Old Trafford. Come and us at the FA Cup, but even though we did beat them in the league. So it's not a game that we can really kind of just take for granted, Jonathan, I'd say.
Yeah, you can never take United for granted. We saw that in the FA Cup third round, didn't we? You know, they were on a pretty bad run of form kind of around that time. And, you know, even under Amarin, he knocked us out of the Europa League there, didn't he, a few seasons back when he was manager of Sporting Lisbon. So he kind of has it out kind of for that, I think. But, yeah, you can, you know, Old Trafford, like, there was many a good clash, wasn't there, between Wenger and Ferguson down the years, and it's always a game where both sides are up for, no matter where they are, you know, form-wise or in the table. You know, it's the one game where the players just seem to go with the way the history's gone over the years in it. But you know, when you look at ourselves, you know, and with the second night coming up on Wednesday, you'd expect hopefully a few of the fringe players will get a run out on Wednesday, you know, being 7-1 up over the first leg. You think on Sunday that he'd probably field a strong enough side or to go out, because I do agree with Liam, we can't take our foot off the gas for this Champions League spot. You know, from 8 upwards, I think it is, you know, from Brighton upwards, there's only about 6-7 odd points between everyone in that top four. Hopefully there's going to be the 5th spot given to the English sides for next season Champions League. But you know, every game now, if we can get maximum points against Man United and Chelsea coming on into this next international break this month, that'd be pretty sweet. And into the next round of the UEFA Champions League, with April coming in, hopefully we'll have Martinelli and Saka back. You know, the tide could be turning. You know, like the last few weeks have been a bit doom and gloom with injuries, but suddenly that result on Tuesday night has given the fans a lift and a belief again that we can get a few of these injuries back. And looking at that squad, we have, you know, no striker there, but still able to put 7 past a pretty accomplished Champions League team year in, year out, like PSV and Eindhoven away. You know, a strong finish to the season is still achievable, but as you said, let's keep fighting on both fronts. But I say Brooksy will agree, there is no room for complacency, really, is there? You know, it's been the tightest Champions League qualification spots I've seen in many a season, where there's 7 or 8 teams fighting for all them spots. It's made it exciting, but it's given it's given fans like us a heart attack with no recognised striker. So, I do agree with you. I think we've enough there though on Sunday to get a 2 or 3-1 result against United. Liam, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Go back over to you, John, on that. So, do you share the same kind of confidence as Jonathan in terms of that? Obviously, you think this performance will trigger us to go into Man United very confident and getting that win?
I think so. Like I said, I was a bit nervous about going up there. Like I said, no matter how bad they are, we've had so many bad memories up there. You know what happens quite a few times. But the last few years, we've actually beat them. So, yeah, I mean, if you can't be full of confidence after a 7-1 win, then we can be. Like I said, they played tonight. They're flying back tonight. Obviously, we stayed overnight in Eindhoven, which I think helps as well. So they're home now and they have an extra ref. They should be absolutely flying. I mean, the confidence going for some of the players. Like I said, Odegaard and Marino, but I assume he's got another goal. And when Aries just loving life. So, yeah, I mean, funny. I mean, United are terrible. I know we don't. Still really want. Yeah, I mean, Liverpool got Southampton. I think the weekend at home, they're going to smash them. Let's be honest. So I know Man City are away to Forest to Saturday lunchtime. So one of them's going to drop points. I think Chelsea have got a tough. They got Spurs. Is that coming up?
Well, I thought you said that was a tough game then.
Yeah, well, they're both shit as well, I know, but but that's a good thing as well, by the way. Looking for extra forward, because obviously Chelsea scraped past mighty Copenhagen 2-1 tonight. So obviously they'll have to go for it next Thursday. They play their strongest side to make sure they get
it's not Chelsea Spurs.
Obviously,
it's Chelsea Leicester.
Oh, Spurs have got Bournemouth.
That'd be an interesting game.
Yeah, well, I mean, if Spurs. I
think Bournemouth got some decent results up there over the last few years.
Yeah, I mean, who hasn't? Let's be honest.
Good point.
But I know Solanke went off injured again. But yeah, I think you do wonder how much longer he's got left. To be fair, I mean, they keep losing a few more games, mate. If they go out next week to old Alkmaar, mate, it's brilliant. Yeah. But no. Sid, going back to United. The good thing is, obviously, beating the PSV. I mean, they're about 98% chance we're going through, probably even higher. You try not to jinx it, because surely not. But yeah.
It's an unmade, come on, it's an 100%.
Yeah, all right, it should be, but yeah, you just know. I still have 4-0 away in Newcastle flashbacks. You know,
they got to score 6 goals.
So they haven't really got to worry about them, which means they can properly concentrate. United, get that done. Doesn't matter if people get a few knocks. It doesn't matter, because he should be able to rest the team on Wednesday. You'd like to think. I mean, saying that, I don't know who's going to be available, but it will be interesting to see what it does, because I presume the team that started on Tuesday will probably start on Sunday, I would have thought. But I don't know, because he does like to change Calafiori and Miles Skelly, and Ben White's due a start soon.
Well, Skelly will be out suspended anyway, won't he?
Oh, yes, he is. Of course he is. Of course he is.
That's a big loss, actually, as well, yes.
So I think that's not a bad thing. Well, it's not a good thing in terms of I'd like to see Skelly play there. But the good thing about it is that obviously I think we'll play Calafiori on Sunday, and Skelly will play against PSV on Wednesday.
Yep. That's good.
Another trivia question for you, mate. Can you tell me how many FA Cups Man City and Aston Villa have won?
I think it's only 7.
Joint fourth they are, with 7 FA Cups.
Yeah. Interesting fact as well.
How many United won 7-0 recently as well.
Sorry, what was that, John?
Well, this is kind of cheeky. How many McDonald's chicken nuggets can I get in my mouth in one go?
7, I guess.
Believe it or not, yeah, just about, yeah.
How do you get 7 of them in your trap?
I've got a very big goal.
We better not keep winning 7-1, so.
Oh, mate.
Yeah. There'll be a lot more me to come here.
Mr. Arsenal podcast, and what do we have in common with Leeds recently? I guess Leeds banged 7 in past someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Cardiff 7-0.
Yeah, they battered them, yeah. It'd be great to see Leeds United back in the Premier League next season. I think they would have been a lot better than, no disrespect to Southampton. I think Leeds United would have been a better outfit being in the Premier League, you know.
Yeah.
The cracking Ellen Road is a cracking atmosphere to go to, though. You know, they get behind their team, no matter the good times or the bad times. One of those clubs that
can't be any worse in the teams that come up. Jesus.
Yeah. I feel sorry. The one thing I feel sorry for, lads, is Aaron Ramsdale, you know, going back down. You know, it's happened to him with Bournemouth, Sheffield United, and now...
He shouldn't have gone there then. I don't know why he went there. Madness.
I think his main reason, I don't know about you, but I think his main reason for leaving was to get first team football again, wasn't it? That was probably the, you know, but I still think there was better clubs in the Champions League, European place that would have taken a gamble on.
Some of the games I've seen, he's actually kept the score down, and they said he's actually done well. So he could theoretically get a move to somewhere else. I mean, Leeds could do with something like that, to be fair, because that Melier is at the best.
Yeah,
100%. So we shall see.
Don't we find it's a bit of a funny one, Aaron Ramsdale, isn't it? Because his stock went really up, didn't it, at Arsenal? And then he obviously got dropped when Raya turned up after that victory against Manchester United, which obviously Arteta's got a bit of form in terms of dropping a goalkeeper after that international break. But I just find the whole situation, like going to Southampton, a bit kind of underwhelming for him. Do you know what I mean? Like you said, I thought you would have thought there would have been better clubs looking in for him. To be fair, he had a bit of a howler, didn't he, last season once he got dropped, and I think his head was gone, and you could tell that when he did come into certain games. I think especially that Carling Cup game, wasn't it? There was a Carling Cup game, and then Brentford, weren't it? He made that clanger, but yeah, it doesn't. It's not great for him, is it? That he's getting relegated again. That's the one thing I would say.
And they get smashed every week as well.
I think their confidence can't be great at that either. When they get battered,
I think if anything, this move's done him more harm than good.
Yeah, 100%. His England place is at risk now over it, I think. You know, but I think he admitted himself that his one downfall was that he was never 100% concentrated all the time, where David Raya is. You know, I thought that was an odd admission to make as a goalkeeper. You know, but probably made up for the mistakes and blunders he had with us. But when he did make a blunder, I noticed in a game, particularly the Brentford game, when I think it was Wista scored, that save he made from Ivan Toney from the halfway line, he used to pull off some top stops to make up for it, didn't he? But you can't always keep doing that or he'd be found out, sadly.
Yeah, I do think that maybe potentially he won't feel. You can imagine like things in the changing rooms and all that as well. Was there stuff in there that was even not seen as being fully focused in games? Because and I don't want to blame him for it, but we went for a mold, didn't we? We were conceding goals in the first 10 to 20 seconds of the game. And I remember one or two times you look at his positioning, you're thinking, mate, like, do you know what I mean? I know the game's only just started, but maybe that kind of concentration kind of fed in before games and after games. Do you know what I mean? You just don't know, do you?
Yeah, that's true. Like even with the difference with David Raya, even when we were 5-6-1 up, he's still 100% alert, isn't he? He still wants to keep that clean sheet and keep you in the game. You know, that's the difference between those. You know, you could see the difference now. We've got a world-class keeper in David Ray, and we got him ready for a snip, didn't we? For 20-odd million. It's just great to have a top keeper again, like in the mold of, you know, Seaman and Lehman were different ties, but to have a number one and the back four that can rely on, you know, they can rely on their goalkeeper to move forward, you know, knowing that they have their back covered, it means so much to top class defenders, doesn't it? You know?
No, he's definitely had a good season. I know he's had a few kind of wobbly moments over the last few games, but overall, like absolutely top notch. And I think, like you said, the concentrations and the seriousness. Do you know what I mean? In terms of the approach that he gives into games, and you can tell that on the pitch. And he's one of them players who kind of just, you can tell that he gets himself prepared very well into games.
Yeah.
And I think he's done pretty well, considering the situation that he walked into with the whole controversial situation of Aaron Ramsdale. And it was always going to be a hard one, because Ramsdale was a bit of a fan's favourite, weren't it? We all loved him for what he was and what he did on the pitch at times, especially with the rival fans, but away from home. But I think he coped that. I think he dealt with that really well, because I think it was really, really hard. You could tell that in his early performances. There was a lot of pressure on him. But I do think as well, though, we do need an able deputy for him now. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, if we lost him at any point, I think we're in shit street with the goalkeeper that we've potentially got at the moment. So that's something that definitely needs to be looked at in the summer, and maybe that Garcia deal hopefully will go through this time round.
Yeah.
The huge addition to the squad, all right, as a going back up, because. Like clearly Neto, after watching that Girona performance, he's definitely not going to be, just...
I still can't believe he tried to save it when he's a mile out of box.
I still haven't got over that, It's the one time I was looking forward to seeing him now. I never want to see him go again. I thought it was an odd move from him, to be honest, because he's still a top keeper. To be knowing that he's never done a better sniff as a number one this season was, quite odd, to be honest. Yeah. I think it was probably more cover knowing that we'd lost Aaron Ramsdale. I think it was just a quick, kind of a quick fix to get someone with Premier League experience, maybe as well.
Yeah. Moving back to just the PSV game. In terms of obviously the kind of what I want to kind of look at is obviously the defensive performance again. How do I put this? I actually think Mikel Arteta done the absolute bang on right thing on Tuesday night with Lewis Skelly. Yeah. And do you know what? When you see that situation arise, and you see it was hard and it was harsh, because he'd been involved in that goal. He'd done so much good, but then he picked up that booking, which, to be honest, I didn't think the first one.
Soft.
It was very soft booking. But we've got a guy here, and I know he's had one red card rescinded, and he's got the red card, and I don't totally blame him for the second red card, because I don't think David Ray has helped him out whatsoever in terms of it. But he's got to be mindful, isn't he, in terms of if he picks up another red card, a lot of scrutiny is going to be on him. And I think the referee done him a massive, massive favour. Personally, after that booking, I thought it was an odds-on bang on yellow card. He should have been off. We've got away with one, which we probably haven't got away with much this season. But is this something that's creeping into his game a little bit? Is it like, obviously it's naivety. Obviously, his age, he's very young. Have we got any concerns about it? Because his performance up to that point of getting that booking was absolutely superb. But then within the space of 5 minutes, Arteta's had to hook him off the pitch. Does that concern you whatsoever?
Yeah, yes and no. I mean, to be fair, he has got to be careful. Obviously, you can only use his age so many times. In the day, he's playing for Arsenal because he's good enough. It doesn't matter what age he is. So he's going to be in the firing line, the spotlight. Obviously, he scored that goal against City, did a celebration, made even more about him. So, you know what people are like. To see someone doing well, they want to bring them straight back down again. I mean, like I said, the first booking was very harsh, and I think the ref realised when he did the second one, he might think, actually, I was a bit too hasty with the first one. I mean, fair play to him, because that was in the Premier League and he'd been off all day long. And it was nice to see a ref use a bit of common sense. I mean, you can argue rightly or wrongly if it's the correct thing. But this is something he's going to have to learn. And obviously, we've always said that's his future line centre mid. No, that's where he used to play. So, I don't know. It's going to be something he's going to have to get used to pretty sharpish. I mean, yeah, there's plenty of fullbacks. So luckily, we're lucky that he could make the change. And again, he'll have to learn because, like I said, he was playing very well, and he would have been very disappointed to come off. But he would have understood why. And if he wants to carry on playing and being in the first team, he's going to have to be careful.
And Jonathan, it's all part of the learning curve, isn't it? I guess like there's things like this. He is going to learn. Like he is playing a really tricky position. If we're being totally on the show, like we're talking about the inverted left back role, which for Arteta is a massive role. Do you know what I mean? Within his team, and he's giving his responsibility to a kid that's 18 years old who's absolutely excelling in the role, but at the same time, maybe he needs these kind of learning curves, and maybe Wednesday night will give him a bit of a taster in terms of, look, this is the situation, but if you put us in his situation, you're going to be hooked off as well.
Yeah, I think he as well. He's on kind of cloud 9 at the moment, isn't he? This season, the last couple of months, he's in the starting 11 now. And he kind of has moments in games where he'll do something great, forcing forward. And he's quite good at assisting as well, and he's got a good eye for a pass. But then he can be just a bit clumsy, a bit too eager to go into a tackle, maybe. The yellow card, the force, and if the likes of Zinchenko or Ben White made that, we'd be screaming out like, "Why are you making stupid tackles like that?" But I think because he's so young and his age, he kind of gets away with it. But if you keep doing these kind of tackles and getting red cards, Arteta will have to come down hard on him. So I think definitely into next season, as Brooksy said, he'll obviously have had this experience this season, and you think that he learned from that. I think it's all a learning curve for him. But I think that second tackle was a bit, I think being a big Champions League game away from home, the occasion might got a bit to him, the hostile atmosphere and all, and you had to go in for the tackle and all. But if that was Michael Oliver, say, in the Premier League game, that would have been a straight, another red card, not even the second top. But the thing what I like was Arteta, he took him off for Calafiori, which was a great move, as you said, in the game. Great man management there. But the lads, the likes of Declan Rice and co, taking him away from the situation, where he was getting kind of riled up. I really like that part, looking after the young lad. But I thought the difference with Champions League referees is, in them circumstances, they take a step back, and analyse it after giving them a yellow card already. If you do that again, son, you're gone. But I think it was about 5 minutes later he substituted. But I think he's a humble lad, I think Haaland will agree. I think he's very grounded, like Nanworthy, and I think he will learn from this game, and he's going to be a really, really exciting prospect for all our fans. He's such a talent, and I think I do agree with Brooksy, and I don't know about yourself, Liam, but I can see his future position being in centre midfield. He just has that build about him, kind of like when I'm thinking about Timber. He'd slot nicely into that midfield if we were to lose the likes of, which is probably probable in the next season or two, Jorginho or Thomas Partey.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was having a conversation with one of my mates today, and he mentioned it, and I mentioned this at the start of the season, that I think Timber could easily play that centre midfield role.
Yeah.
Especially maybe even in the Thomas Partey role, because he's got all the attributes and the ability to play that role well, and he's very mobile. So it is something that I like to see at some point, to see him play in there. But just going on to him, because I was going to go on to him to talk about the defensive part of the game, but it's kind of gone under the radar, hasn't it, a little bit, Timber, because I think where the performances have been up and down this season, but he's been comfortable, isn't he? Like in terms of his position. I think whether you play him at right back or left back, he gives you an absolute solid performance. He can play the inverted role. He can play like the natural fullback role with the right back. I do think we missed Ben White at certain times, if I'm being totally honest.
Yeah.
Just that relationship he's got with Saka. But I did feel that Timber was building that up with Odegaard and Saka before the injury. Where do you actually think Timber's actual position eventually is going to be? Do you see it being that right back role, or do you see it being a different role?
I mean, Arteta's played him at centre half as well, so I think he sees him. He seems to be able to adapt and play any position along the defence. I would always play him as a full back. but he's got that build where he could be centre half. I mean, he could, like I said, he could be centre mid and all. I mean, the one difference he has got with Ben White is, sorry, I just flashed up. Oh, Luke Humphries has just hit a 9 darter in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He's on fire, isn't he? Good lord.
And
a few lessons.
Obviously, he's chipping up with your goal, Timber, isn't he? He's got quite a few headers this year. That's quite a smallish man. He doesn't have to get up well.
Yeah. He has a couple of headers this year, which is obviously really kind of supporting in terms of contributing at that end of the pitch. And it was nice to see him at the back post. Do you know what I did think though? Like, what a ball from Declan Rice. And just
superb, by the way.
Yeah, just going on to Declan Rice, because he's taken a bit of flack, hasn't he, over the last few weeks?
Yes, he has.
Performances, but that is the Declan Rice that I want to see. That is the Declan Rice that we need to see. He was getting into their box. He was breaking. He was causing havoc. And it just questions why the team's not been like this. Like, I know that teams play low blocks in the Premier League. I know we do kind of struggle, especially at home. I do think the situation in terms of losing certain personnel has not helped us whatsoever. But I don't understand why we've not seen Declan Rice breaking into that box as much, because one of the big things that I noticed in the first season, especially the first part of the season, was he was getting himself into areas, he was getting himself into boxes, he was getting himself shots in. But this year he hasn't really been getting into the box as much. And it's been a bit underwhelming, if we're being totally honest, in terms of the midfield trio. Like, I'd say Partey's probably been the best out of the three. And he was really good, but then he blows hot and cold, doesn't he, at times, Thomas Partey, for me. And I just want to see Declan Rice like he was on Tuesday night, and that is the Declan Rice that we want to see. Like I think he desperately needs to get a run of games and a few goals as well. Do you know what I mean? Just to get his confidence up.
Yeah, I mean, his fitness levels on Tuesday were ridiculous. The amount of times we get in a corner and he's the one furthest up the pitch and legging it to get forward. I mean, if we can do that against United on Sunday, mate, and their big old pitch, mate, that would be a type performance. That's, like I said, that's what we want. That's what we've had the money for. That's what we expect. I mean, he looks fully fit. I mean, he does seem to enjoy playing away from home as well.
The pressure's kind of off.
Sometimes he looks much more freer.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely
done as more to go, certainly name not being in the FA Cup at the weekend. That gave us kind of a week as well, a freshness, didn't it? You could see the players were a bit more fresher and a bit more time to work in the training ground with no recognised striker. You can see Arteta'S brought in different ideas, how to work the opposition's back line and all. You can see Rice and definitely Timber is making a beeline for that back post all the time. It's just like a chemistry between him and Rice, Rice constantly crossing to that side from him. But yeah, there's some leap off Yuri and Timber, though. There's a similar chance he had against Forest and it was saved by the keeper, but Tuesday night, he made sure he got his head on that. Your man Noah Lang was, I think, in front of him, and he's a striker, and strikers don't want to be in that position defending, and Timber really made sure that he was getting his head on that. I think being an ex-Ajax player as well, there was an extra bit there, extra flavour to it as well. And I think the good thing when you're signing a player from Ajax have this tendency of playing a player of his quality and other players in different positions, and that's how they adapt so quickly, which is a great, it's a great bonus to have,
Yeah, definitely. And I guess the other thing as well, like, that was good little point out here. Like, you got the assist, didn't he, for Timber's goal at Manchester United. So yeah, like you said, there seems to be a good bit of chemistry there, and hopefully we can get a few more goals out of Timber, because I think he's definitely got the capability of firstly arriving late, but also from set pieces. He's already proven that he can contribute. So yeah, it's good to see. Obviously, the centre backs, pretty much, we spoke about them pretty much all season. They've been obviously colossal most of the time. I think Gabriel's been our player of the season still. And I don't see that kind of changing. But just one question that obviously Game of Sisters ask: how do you think Mikel Mourinho done up top on Tuesday, John?
Yeah, he did well. Actually, he scored again, didn't he? So yeah, he did all right. It was a good finish, to be fair. I mean, shocking defending. I mean, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't see that in a five-a-side game, but yeah. He took it well, and yeah, he caused a bit of mischief. He seemed to enjoy it more this time round. But again, their defence is dreadful. I mean, I think all you can do is say well done to him because at the end of the day, he's a midfielder playing up front. So anyone that's moaning about him, he's doing the job. He's taking one for the team. That's it. He's getting a few goals. It's probably a bonus for him. And if he's has had any brain, he's given him a little goal bonus in his contract. He's probably laughing.
Yes.
But he's doing the job, and it looks like he's going to be the striker until other people come back. So, yeah,
he's going to be an interesting one once Martinelli comes back, isn't it? Because
I presume he'll play on Sunday. I mean, I'd fancy him against Harry Maguire.
he's got two options, really, isn't he? Like, for me, it's either Trossard. I don't see Martinelli playing up there personally, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Shouldn't play Trossard there again. He was great, like I said the other day. That was a Trossard of old. That lovely little back heel and then getting for the little deep finish. It was great. It was like they were just all really enjoying their football. It's brilliant. It's what it wants. Play them in the right position.
Sorry, John.
No, go on, carry on.
No, what concerns me though is and I've been pretty open about it for probably a season and a half now. You get that performance, and then Sunday we get an absolute dry performance out of him. And this is where we need to start backing up his games. Like, we need a run of games from Leandro Trossard. Do you know what I mean?
He scored up there last year, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, that's right. There you go.
So, it like going into Catherine's question, how do we think his performance will play into the weekend? I hope it does. But this is the time when players like Trossard need to back up their performances.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, Waneri, we've seen what he's capable of, but I think there's a couple of them out there at the moment. Odegaard as well. They need to back up that performance. And they've been given the perfect tonic now. They should be well up for Sunday, but you need to go out there and back this performance up because, I don't think still, even though everyone's really happy about it, and look, it's given us, it's put literally our 2 feet in the quarterfinal stages of the Champions League. I don't think at the moment the fans will probably sit there and think, yeah, we're back. I think Sunday's the definition of whether we're back or not. Do you know what I mean? I think everyone's waiting to see if we can back it up, or don't get me wrong, we had to stick the ball in the net 7 times. So we've done something really good on Tuesday, but at the same time, the opponent was absolutely appalling. But it's about the confidence factor that it gives them players. Do you know what I mean? It's about what it brings into their next game. And I'll be interested to see Mikel Merino on Sunday, because it's not going to be an easy game for him. He's going to be up against Delic. Do you know what I mean? He's an experienced centre-back. So how we play that and how we operate that's going to be a bit of an interesting one Sunday for me.
All about Odegaard, mate. Give him the ball, let him run the show. Again, they're probably in the air now, bless them. So they're not going to go until tomorrow. They've got to play them again next Thursday, which is a massive game for them. That's their season next week. That's their season now. I know, I suppose it is for us, the European competition, but they're not going to get European football the other way. So, what does he do? Does he go, right, you know what? I know everyone wants us to beat Arsenal at home, but we've got more important things to worry about, which they have.
Well,
if they want to get Champions League football, then winning the Europa League is the only way they're going to do it. And if he wants his players, then in the summer, because was it Rudy the other day in the Fulham game half time or full time, and they said, he said, if I was a player, man, you're not to come knocking, I wouldn't want to go do it at this moment in time. And why would you? So it's a massive game. What do they do? I mean, if we go up there and score early on, they could well fold up PSV, which would be absolutely glorious.
To be honest with you, I don't think they've got...
And that's what we need to do. We need to get at them.
I don't think they've got the capability to rotate. I looked at their bench tonight. There was only 7 substitutes they named on that bench.
But we all know who might well end up scoring against us, because you know who it could be. Oh, Chiwobi, whatever he's called, who's 17. Sorry, so football's a funny old game. You could see it happening, but it would be 6-1 up at the time. But yeah, I mean, give Odegaard and Rice the ball. They should be full of confidence. United fans, they won't want to play us. They see the score, they'll be like, oh, for God's sake. And yeah, if we can get at them straight away, we could very easily do them quite comfortably. But we shall see. You know, like I said, we've been here before. We go, and then the first whistle goes off, and you think, oh, here we go. And you can just tell. So that was a good thing about the other night. Straight from the whistle, they looked well up for it. The first 10 minutes of pressure, moving about, getting forward. You know, this is so much better. And that's just what they got to do again on Sunday. So, fingers crossed.
Yeah, definitely fingers crossed. I think, like you say, it's going to be a bit of an interesting game for Sunday for both teams. In terms of how they kind of approach it. And I think that's a good point raised for you. The Sociedad home game is probably their biggest game of the season so far. So, like, they could have one eye on that, couldn't they, as such? And I think if things don't go right for them, I can see Amaron concentrating on that game. So, say if they were losing quite comfortably at some point, I think he'd end up taking his big hitters off because I think he'll try and protect them for that game because
you want to protect Bruno Fernandes. He's their only player.
You stop Fernandes, you stop United. Yeah, this is the poorest United team I've ever seen now in a long time.
But
it's interesting, isn't it? I'll tell you what the interesting thing about this is, though, right? And this is really interesting when you strip it all down, right? How bad Tottenham and Man United are this year. They could end up in the Champions League.
It's great. It's great.
One of them could end up in the Champions League.
United reminds me.
No chance. Oh yeah, yeah. Mind you, they're both.
Well, but say one of them did win it because you look at the teams in it and you sit there and you think, do you know what? I don't think they will win it. Both these teams at the moment, but if one of them won it, all right, take Man United for example. They finished 14th in the league, but then win the Europa Cup. Does that then turn out to actually be a successful season for Amaron?
Oh, absolutely. He won a cup.
Yeah.
So he would have been, he's been when he joined, win a cup and get us into Europe. That would be the minimum. So, yeah, if he does that, they'll be saying he's the best manager in the world if he does that with that team. I mean, we're such nothing special, but, you know, they're struggling to beat Fulham when I couldn't beat.
What's your thoughts, Jonathan, on that?
It's been since they haven't found the form that Alex Ferguson had since he left nearly 30 odd years ago. They've manager after manager, whether they've given him enough time or not is another question. But I think they have to do, if they do win the Europa League, the only good thing to come out is you can try and lure some big players to the club in the summer. If they don't win it and finish 14th, it's going to be a season of struggle. And it doesn't really look like Radcliffe wants to pump money into it. I think Amaron will have to sell before he buys. And losing the likes of Kobe Mainu and Garnacho, you're selling okay players there, and like if you can't replace them, and it looks like Rashford's gone as well, like you're kind of struggling who you're going to bring in to replace that quality. It could be, it's worrying times. I think they have to burn the house down like we done in 2019 under Arteta and Edu, get rid of the dead wood, start again and have a project for a 5-year plan, because there seems to be no plan in place for the likes of Spurs and United, as great as it is for Arsenal fans. It's great to see, but it kind of, at the same time, as a football fan, it kind of just ruins the quality of the league as well. You kind of still want to see them big teams compete, and so you can watch good games, every 2 games a season against the big clubs. You don't want to be hammering teams 5 and 6-0 as great as it is. You still want to see some sort of, rivalry and competition there. But when you look at the Europa League, there isn't many, they're okay teams in it, but you'd assume with likes of United and Spurs, I'd probably fancy United a bit over Spurs at the moment with the European experience that they've had over the years to go on to win it. But that Real Sociedad, the La Liga is second behind the Premier League in my terms of quality, and it wouldn't surprise me. The Spanish teams are doing quite well actually in all the competition. So next week's game isn't a given either, but like the likes of Obi could come back down just on Sunday. At least there's one worry off my mind. Rashford's not playing for United because he always fucking scored against us.
Yeah.
And that's one worry I'd sleep well on Sunday night. But I think this is a great chance, lads, to give United a good spanking, even with no strikers. Because we saw against PSV, goals are coming from all areas of the pitch now for us, which is great. And I think, as Brooksy said, this is a game where Martin Odegaard can be the magician in this midfield. You snuff out Fernandez. Once United go 2 or 3 down, his head goes down and the side goes down, I think.
Yeah, I think that you're like with Bruno, like you get what you see is what you get with him, isn't it? Like you don't know what the way he's going to react to certain stuff. Do you know what I mean? Especially once that those heads do go down and a couple goals get conceded. For me, he's not a captain. Do you know what I mean? Like I think my opinion that, and this is a bit of a damning thing about Manchester United at the moment. There is no leaders in that team. Do you know what I mean? Like the captain was Harry Maguire, then obviously he lost it. But you give it to Bruno because obviously he's the best player in the team. But would I look to him to be a leader if things weren't going right? Absolutely not. And I think that's part of the problem at the moment. Do you know what I mean? That's part of the whole process in terms of Manchester United. That it's not right top to bottom, is it, at the moment? And it is a game that I expect us to go and win. It is like when I look at the 11 to our 11 to their 11, I looked at their team tonight. I sat there and I thought, do you know what I mean? Like they can't do us over 90 minutes, like with the players that we've got and the stability that we've got in terms of our defensive midfield. But we've got to go and get the job done. And that's the big thing, do you know what I mean? And the worry is if we go 1 goal behind at the moment, because at the moment, teams just kind of sit deep on us, but I'm not sure Man United can do that at home. Do you know what I mean? But it was a bit of a strange one last year, wasn't it? When we went there, like we just needed to win the game last year to keep us into the last game of the season. But they didn't really come at us either, did they? That whole game, it was very comfortable. It was very, very comfortable. And I know they come to the Emirates in the league game this year and they played a totally different style to what they're used to. And yeah, they were pretty solid for 45 minutes, but you knew that team's not got it in them to play that performance for 90 minutes. And I don't think they can do that for 90 minutes, even at Old Trafford. So they're going to have to come out and try and attack us because they're in front of their own fans.
Fans expect them to,
yeah. And I think that could be the downfall for them. And as you see, you've seen it in the lights over the last few years. I know Liverpool didn't do it this year, but Liverpool have gone there, haven't they? And they've absolutely battered them there because they've had to come out and they just rip them apart. And there's the capability that we can do that. But it's going to be an interesting one because the only worry I do have is obviously the central striking position. I think and it'd be interesting how Marino plays on Sunday because I do think the 2 games before that, in terms of the PSV game, he's been very quiet, and it's very hard if you're not set up to be a striker, you're not tactically a striker. People just sit there and think, oh yeah, he can play up top, but it's a big role to play up top. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got to know your movement, you've got to know how to run, you've got to know how to hold the ball up. Do you know what I mean? You've got to be very like Havertz is very unselfish. So I think it's a big role. So I'm interested to see how he plays Sunday. But I think we've got enough. I think we've got more than enough. And as long as Odegaard turns up, then I think we win quite comfortably.
Yeah.
Just keep shooting at Anana, mate. He'll let a few in.
I think now where that could be a game where he could really enjoy as well. Down the wing, he could really carve them open. Their backline is quite vulnerable when you get at them, So I think that Trossard and Weary Marino could have a field day with Rice and Odegaard in the midfield as well. It could be 4-5-1 that game. I think the first goal is important in that game. If you can silence the Old Trafford fans, and you've seen a lot this season when they go a goal or 2 behind, the whole atmosphere is deflated. If you can get a goal or 2 up before half time, the floodgates could open. But I'd fancy. I'd be very after watching that game Tuesday, as I said, and. I think the players be up for this one now on Sunday, being United and them knocking us out the FA Cup third round. I think there's a bit of revenge in the minds of the Arsenal players as well, I'd fancy a good win there on Sunday. I think you'd be looking at a Man City result there, 5-1. Could be a bit of a battering, which is good for United, I think. Especially as Brooksy said, with the game next Thursday, I think Cameron will probably have more his eye on that tie than the Sunday fixture against us. Because as you said yourself, lads, their season really it's totally reliant on next Thursday getting through, isn't it? Europe's the only way into the big money next season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one area is definitely our main risk for Sunday. Do you know what I mean? I think I've got his feeling, he can have an absolute storm over there, and it's a bit. I think it's a game that, do you know what I mean? Can proper stand you up. Do you know what I mean? As a player, and I think he could go there Sunday and put on a little bit of a show. I just love the way he plays. I love the way he kind of gets himself into the box. And do you know what? I love his go on Tuesday, because that's what that's naturally what a striker does. And that is what we've been missing, that kind of goal where a player just attacks the front post. And that is what we need from a striker. That is what we want from our number 9, them kind of goals. And the finish is just fucking phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? The amount of power he gets on that ball. I know he's only 5, 6 yards out, but you know what I mean? He nearly ripped the net out with that finish, but that's the capability he's got. And this is a 17-year-old kid. And mate, honestly, I can't talk highly enough of him, because he can literally do anything you want him to do. He can play on the outside, he can play on the inside, he can play in the right position, he can play in the centre midfield position, he can play on the left position. I think potentially, and I said this longer term, I think he could play the number 9 role. He could definitely play the number 10 role. But I think once he gets older and he starts building up, I think he can play any position he wants. Like he's got an eye for goal. He can score from inside the box. He can score from outside the box. Like the kid's got it all. For a player this age, I've not seen it since Wayne Rooney.
That's some compliment to pay. The way he ran into the box from the wing, he was adamant he was only get on the end of it, and to bury it into the roof, and the keeper was even flapping at, it was the power he struck it at as well. For such a young age, he's some power in his shots. You can clearly see that he's practicing day in, day out, and it must be just a dream at that age, himself and Skelly, in the first team, and maybe even playing the likes of Real Madrid and Atletico in the next round. Like, it's just bonkers how where your career can take in such a short space of time. The burn of day, kind of reminds me of this run we had in the 05-06 season to the final. We're getting those type of results, Even, we didn't have a great backline then, but we were putting out clean sheets left, right, and centre, weren't we? On the road to Paris. So, yeah, it's made that result has kind of given me, a bit of life again. I was down about the results against West Ham at first, because those results pretty much defined that we're out of the title race. We probably were even be up before then, but that really cemented it for me. But if we can have, if we can cement second place in the league and get a good run in the Champions League and see where it takes us, the semi-final, and if not the final, that would be deemed for me, with all the bad luck we've had with the red cards given and all the injuries we've had. That would be a really good end of season, I think. I think any Arsenal fan would be happy enough with that, I think. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Here we go. Here's one. Sassy Goons answering. I'm trying to work it out. I'm not sure I can work it out. Here you go. How about a player, Matt Emeka, that scores goals for fun, assists at Dortmund, scores on both Madrid's squads, Juve, and made his club 100 of millions, and on a free transfer?
What's he called? I can see his face.
Have you guessed the superstar yet? He loves Arsenal and Barca.
Was it the same one that scored in the World Cup final? Was it him? What's it called? Marco Rose? No, who is it? Is it him? Maybe, no. What was he called? I can see his face.
Not Götze.
The one that scored the winning goal in the World Cup final with Germany.
Not Götze.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe Götze. That's the one.
And he will be featuring at the Kroenke Stadium in the LA on the 20th of March.
Yeah, it's got to be a minute, Götze. Yeah, he played for Dortmund.
I don't know. He plays in the MLS now, obviously, does he?
Does he?
I'm trying to think. Dortmund. It has to be. Oh, Marco Rose. I think it's Marco Rose. Remember the lad with the blonde hair?
Yeah, I can
Nearly
see
40
him.
years in the MLS. I think that's him, Marco Rose.
Yeah.
He played. I think he played in behind. Yes.
That's right. The Canadian. Jonathan David scores both feet from pens
Ah,
with his head.
Oh,
no.
yeah, he's in it. Yeah, we've been linked with him actually this week. He's on a free. I'll take him all day long.
Jeez,
Do we
that's-
think there's well, I tell you what, that like there was a lot of talk, wasn't there, this season, that next season, that we actually need two strikers to come in. Not being funny, if you get him on a free transfer, like don't get me wrong, the wages be higher, but you expect that, and you expect the sign-on fees to be massive. But yeah, he's done really well, isn't he?
Yeah, he scored against Liverpool at Anfield in Champions League this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take him all day long.
Yeah.
A free transfer.
What is he, about 25, 26?
He's around that, yeah. Well, maybe slightly older, but yeah, he's.
The Lille fans have been actually raving about him. They're the closest they've seen to kind of since Eden Hazard left him. You know, he's got that raw pace about him, and he is actually a big fan of as Saskia Gunnar said, of Thierry Henry. His finishes are kind of like that coming off the wing. You know, that finish that he had tucking it into the far corner. Yes. I don't know. Like,
it's a no-brainer, isn't it? No-brainer.
Like if you got the likes of Zubamendi, Nico Williams all going well, and Sesko and him, that'd be some squad next season, wouldn't it?
We're winning everything.
Definitely, you'd have to say we're definitely contending. Obviously, you know, if 11 players don't get injured, of course, into the next season, but like that squad we have now, with that quality of that depth, you'd have to say we can't be any closer, lads, to winning the league than the last 2 or 3 seasons. Like we've just been so unlucky. We've come against the machines of Man City and Liverpool. If this was any other league in Europe, we would have at least won 1 out of 2 seasons, wouldn't we? You know, the last couple of seasons. Arteta'S just unlucky, you know, that's all I can say. You know, because we've done everything right. We've nearly tried to be as 100% over the last 2 seasons as we can be. It's either been too many injuries, too many draws. You know, we're not losing a whole load of games in a season, 3-4 max, and you just still can't win. You know, it's just like trying to win the national lottery. You just waiting on that one number to come out. You know,
do we know?
And still stay humble. It's just so hard, lads. You know, how dare Hannon say such things. I might try stuff 10 nuggets in my mouth if you end up winning the Champions League. Yeah, I know we're not far off it now, lads. So that's a great shout, though. Jonathan David will be that's a very good shout, actually. Yeah.
Do we know, like in the quarterfinals, whether we'll be home or away first?
Forced in the quarters. Yeah, I was just looking at that up the other night. Yeah, it's the fourth leg is at home. So yeah.
When is that?
Is the fourth. Yeah.
Oh, okay, so Saka and Martinelli could be back.
I reckon Martinelli definitely, and Saka could be. I think he's in light training again. Isn't he?
Yeah, around that. Yeah, they're both. And
obviously, and White fully fitter than he is as well. Like that's 3 of your key players, you could say. You know, all back. It's like the first leg. I would have loved the second leg to be at home, but like
I don't know. I think. Do you know what? I actually think right, it could benefit us especially if it's Real Madrid, that we have the home game first, because I think right, that I think it'd be. Do you know what? I think it'd be the way we plan at the moment and the way we're more successful away from home. I think if we can get a good result at home, I think we can set up well in Madrid, and I think Arteta'S got the tactical mind to go there and set that team up to kind of do what it needs to do. I think the problem is if we go to their place and lose to them like 2-0 at home at their place straight off, I don't see us turning it back round at the Emirates whatsoever.
No.
I actually think we'd be best off playing at home against Madrid in the first leg, but we need to take some kind of lead over there. And the other thing as well is, they could get like if we do get a win and like they're getting a bit desperate and just take for example, it gets to the second half and they need to score, they're going to open up, aren't they? So I just I just feel more comfortable about having the first leg at the Emirates first and trying to get a lead.
Yeah, I wouldn't be honest.
See who we get first.
Well, yeah, it might not be then.
Yeah, that second leg that's not a given. I think 2-1 is still very tight, isn't it? Like Atletico were quite good at home themselves, and Real are easy kind of to get. There is vulnerable. Madrid are quite vulnerable. Julian Alvarez, I thought, is starting to come into form now.
It'd be interesting to see Saliba up against Mbappe, won't it?
Yeah, wouldn't it? Like, that might give Saliba a bit of a taste of what life is like in Real Madrid as well, which would worry me. If he had 2 good games over 2 legs, but they put in a decent transfer. But I think he's committed to Arsenal. I think he's as long as the project keeps going the way it is. I can't see Saliba really going in the short term anyway. But yeah, that would actually be that's quite a good show, Liam. Saliba versus Mbappe. what a one-on-one that is.
Oh, mate, it'd be absolutely brilliant. The worry for me, though, is, right, the only worry is that, like, do you know what I mean? Like, we've competed against all the big clubs in England, but we're gonna potentially play the very best club side in the world.
Yeah.
And how are we going to approach that and how are the players going to be with that as well? Do you know what I mean? Like, we said... It's a big ask, isn't it? It's a massive
Mm.
ask. Like if we come out the other side of it, you got to think that the confidence coming out of it, we could get to a final. Like you're probably looking at Liverpool, Aston Villa in the semis. We're being totally honest. We are looking at them in the semis, but I just question like will the team have the confidence to take Real Madrid on? Do you know what I mean? Because you've got to take them on. Man City have got the confidence because they've done it over the years. Do you know what I mean? And like look what happened to Championship. That's a little bit different. It's going to take something mentally special to beat them because we haven't played that level of opponent yet. Like you can't say Bayern Munich are that level of opponent whatsoever. Like I didn't think there was much difference between us and Bayern Munich last year, apart from that goal in like late in the second. Well, it was the middle of the second half, wasn't it? But you look at Real Madrid, you sit there and you look at the stars and you think, look, what we don't want is to like them come to us and turn us over straight away at the Emirates. Like we're going to have to get in their faces. And it's going to be an interesting one, whether the players do believe in themselves that they can go and beat Real Madrid.
Yeah, I suppose you have to go toe-to-toe with the big teams at some stage in the competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
It would have been a cracking final now, I have to say, if we ended up going that first and Real. But yeah, like over 2 legs, well, I've heard on some of the other Gunner podcasts, this team is kind of equipped for knockout football as well, isn't it? The way we line up sometimes, over 2 legs. Likes of Real, Barca now could be an exception to that, but
there's the other side of it though, isn't there?
Yeah.
Newcastle in the League Cup. Once Newcastle went 1-0 up, mate, we had no answers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's the other side.
I suppose Newcastle were quite lucky over them 2 games. They kind of had a full squad to pick from, where we were really struggling with injuries, weren't we? We were coming into that month gap. I think was a big one as well. After 2 legs, if it was in a shorter period, I think I would have fancied going to St. James's But St. James's is just a cauldron, isn't it? You don't know what to expect there. It's a tough place the last couple of seasons for us as well, hasn't it? We don't really. It's like one of those dodgy teams for us, like West Ham at home. There's just some teams you just don't get the luck against, regardless of why you try. On the day, yeah. But what that'd be a cracker. Either Madrid's would be a cracking game over 2 legs. That would really. That'd be, I say, the tickets. You wouldn't get a ticket loving our money at the Emirates for that one. Yeah, it's great. Great at Arsenal, though, lads. After the last few seasons, it's great to be involved and mixing with the best, though, isn't it? Pitting ourselves against those type of teams again. That's what you want, isn't it, as a fan?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like that's the thing that we haven't had for like we haven't entertained the Real Madrid or we've entertained the Barcelona, but not for the last 10, 12 years, do you know what I mean? And like, we don't know if we're going to get Real Madrid yet. They got a game in Atletico Madrid. So, do you know what I mean? We don't know how that game's going to go. But if we do get Real Madrid, do you know what I mean? It's your dream game, isn't it? Like, for me, it's an ultimate game. Like I think, like Guna with me and John were talking. He went to the Arsenal Real Madrid back at Highbury. I've never been to an Arsenal Madrid game. Like this for me is the dream to watch my club play Real Madrid at home. So do you know what I mean? But at the same time, I sacrifice it if it means we get Atletico Madrid instead. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. But I do think like I want to see the players go out there with confidence and that they can go and beat Madrid. Do you know what I mean? You've got to believe in yourselves, and that's the thing about the Champions League. To win the Champions League, you've got to believe in your ability and you've got to believe in yourselves. And if we did take them out, do you know what I mean? It puts us on the map. It basically puts us on the map if we take them out.
100%, yeah. Yeah. To lower bigger name players as well, if you beat the likes of Real, put you on the map for, for a good summer transfer window as well. Yeah, the Champions League, the further you go into Champions League, the bigger players want to join, isn't it? Because they know you've got the potential there to eventually to go on to win it the next season or so. Yeah, it's a good point made there as well, yeah.
We're going to finish the show now, but before we do, obviously score predictions for Sunday. So, going to go back to you, Jonathan, first. What you thinking?
I don't want to be a Joan or anything, but I don't want to go with 3 or 4-1. I'd probably go hand on heart 4-1. I'd be that confident.
John?
Oh, I don't know. I want to go big, but I know it might bite me in the arse. I think we score early on. I think we can smash them like 5-6-1. It'd be lovely.
Yeah.
I'll say 3-0 to be, conservative. But yeah, I think it's crossed. Anyone will do. But yeah, the higher the better. But yeah, it would be nice to get my hand in. But yeah, I'll say 3-0.
I'm gonna be a little bit more on the modest side of the game, chaps. I'm gonna go 2-1. 2-1. 2-1. So, mate, a win's a win at the end of the day, mate.
Absolutely. Any win would do.
Yeah, a win's a win. I was debating over 2-0 and 2-1. But yeah, I think we'll have enough. And I'm going to go for definitely a one airy goal. I've got a feeling that he's going to have a big game Sunday for us. So that'd be good to see.
Yes, please.
Catherine's going for 3-1. I was debating on the 3-1 side. She's going even for a goal or assist and a Martin assist.
Yeah, good show.
I would have got a score Sunday.
Yeah. I think he
sometimes goes in a little run of games and scores.
Yeah, he does actually. Yeah,
Good point.
Yeah,
Great point.
I think this could be a game where Odegaard and Weirdy could have a field day if United are really below par and they don't start with a good strong 11. I think they're in trouble. I think you'd fear. I think United fans probably fear the worst out of themselves.
Especially with Gary Neville crying. That'd be great.
I just don't want. There's two things I don't want: a red card for ourselves and Michael Oliver to be reffing the game, and I'm happy.
Michael Oliver's not reffing the game this weekend, apparently.
Ain't Taylor's reffing the game?
Oh God, yes it is. And Paul Tierney's on VAR.
Oh well, we're not going.
All over. I'm done.
Yeah.
Anthony Taylor always gets these fixtures for all. It's just a bad look home, isn't it? Like he's from the northeast as well, isn't he?
No, he's great at Manchester, Taylor.
Isn't he? That has to be. They can't have that. No way. I'll tell you, the first goal in that game it's vital though, isn't it? He quietened the United fans, and you could have a field day. Yeah. And I think we've enough quality where, there's the confidence should be flowing through us now after that 7-1 thump at the PSV. That should be the benchmark again to lift our season off again. I think like a mini reset from what should have been a few weeks ago after the Dubai camp. This should be the lift off now. I think in my eyes, I think this is the lift off for us. Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one, isn't it? That I think the whole 7-1 has changed his whole complexion now, probably on Sunday and Wednesday. So he probably might have been thinking, do you know what, I might need to rest a couple of people for Sunday. But now winning 7-1 in PSV, he probably sits there and thinks, you know what, I put all my eggs out on Sunday and then rest a few on Wednesday and just leave them on the bench.
Yep.
Do you know who I'd like to see actually as well as next Wednesday? I don't know whether you agree, being 7-1 up, start that young lad, Butler, Arteta'S, and see what he's about. Give him some game time. You know, see, can he score a couple of goals and there's your striker kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, I don't see him doing it, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Why do you think
He
in
didn't
your
bring him on the
opinion,
other day, which is strange, I thought.
do you not think he's ready? Is that what Arteta thinks with that young lad Butler?
Oh, he 100% ain't ready.
Yeah.
He ain't good enough to be at the club. Let's be totally honest. He's 22 years old.
Yeah.
We've hardly heard of him beforehand. He's been out into second division clubs and not scored goals there. He's not good enough to be playing for us, to be, if we're being frankly honest, but we got nothing else.
What's the lad, the blonde-haired lad that went on the Dubai camp? What's his name? That
Max Downham.
Yeah, he had a great game the other night, I heard as well.
Yeah,
you know, I think good.
Do you think it's only a matter of time? Do you think he'll be in the team from next season? Do you think he'll get a look in?
He'll go on the summer tour, won't he? I think definitely.
Yeah.
I think we'll get to see bits of him, but yeah, like they're talking about this kid could be like the best one out of the lot. And when you see that performance against Man United, against, I think, were they 2-3 years his age? Half them players.
Yeah, scary.
Absolutely, mate. What I was watching, absolutely immense, like talent. But yet again, it's a big job, isn't it? Because we've already got 2 youngsters in the squad already. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's incredible to see that we're bringing these players through the Howe end.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we'll definitely get to see him in the summer. And we probably might get to see him in like things like Carabao Cup and all that. And it's going to be like one area. He's not going to go out on loan on. I think. Do you know what I mean? I think he's too good. I think he'd be too good, and they'd be knocking on that first team door from an early age. And do you know what I mean? When you've got 9 substitutes now, this is the other thing for me. When you've got 9 substitutions, I think you can afford to have someone like him on the bench.
Yeah, and someone that can make an impact. You know, and I think he can make an impact. Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah. Yeah,
I'd rather have a youngster on the bench who's going to be a massive talent, massive prodigy. You know what I mean? Like when the games are done and you got 20 minutes, you can bring him on. Then you bring him on. Do you know what I mean? I just think that with 9 substitutes, like let's be honest, we remember when there was only 5 substitutes. I remember when there was only 1 substitute, but like you got 9 substitutes. You know what I mean? Get rid of one of them left backs and get him on the bench. But yeah, he apparently, obviously, he can't because in the regulations now, isn't it, that you've got to be 16? I read, so that's obviously changed since obviously one area come on a few years ago. But yeah, I think it's only a matter of time that we'll get to see him, and yeah, very exciting. But it makes you think, where are you going to play them all? You got one area, you got Saka, and you got him. God, that's some talent.
Very headache to have, though, isn't it? You know, I prefer to have that headache than be struggling to looking for players at the same. You know, it's great to see your academy is still working. You know, and you see some of the Premier League clubs like Brentford now just getting rid of theirs, which is mad. You know, it's mad. You know, but yeah, that's. I think a lot of credit has to go to the likes of Jack Wilshere and Pierre Mertesacker as well, doesn't it? You know, it's ex-players doing their job. You know, it's nothing better. Yeah, players that know the club inside out. And younger lads feeding off them and giving them, you know, that taste of I can't wait to see him now. I have to say now, the reviews on him and from watching them on the highlights on Arsenal.com, he looks well above his years, like Skelly and Namweary, doesn't he? You know, it's great. Yeah.
Future's bright.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like 7th heaven again. Let's hope we be saying that again. 7-1 against United. I'd love it. Absolutely love it.
Oh, mate.
But sadly, I haven't got any more 7 jokes, but I ran them all out too early.
Go on. Yeah.
Believe it or not, came on in the 70th minute. It was like it was meant to be on my Tuesday night. No, it's a great bonus as well. Just briefly, Liam, to see Ben White back, isn't it? You know, it's just such a plus. You know, yeah.
Here you go. Max Down has played in 2 age group teams already, and you can't play 3 in a season. That's the reason.
Right. 2 age groups already. Jeez, that's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, you got it.
It makes you think now if you hadn't.
Yeah, he probably would be in there, wouldn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, 100% he'd be in there. But do you know what I mean? It's not a bad thing at the moment. Let's be honest. Like,
yeah, you don't want to rush them too quickly at the moment. Yeah, it's
let him play his football where he needs to play his football at the moment, and the good times will roll. Do you know what I mean? So
and I think as well what Arteta's done really well with them Weirdy and Skelly. He's not afraid to take them off in a match when he feels like kind of the pressure's on them, and they're on a yellow card, as we saw the other night. He's not afraid to take them off and, let them kind of sulk away as well. There's that good man of management as well, isn't it? Looking after them and, not losing their head and all. Yeah,
Oh, so Donkey got a knock. That's a shame, isn't it? Cool, they don't get no luck, do they? I think Roma have just beat Atletico Bilbao. So I was looking at the teams left in there, mate. Like literally, it's Roma, Atletico Bilbao, and I think there was someone else. Like, Roma, it was 1-1, so it must be 2-1 Roma. Ajax, Ajax lost at home to Frankfurt.
Oh well.
No, 1-0 up.
I'll tell you what, mate. Glasgow Rangers, mate, and Fenerbahce going out as well. Mate, as I said, mate, I know we laugh, but one of these two could still win it, mate. Quite comfortably. Like you look at the teams and you think Lazio probably the other team, but
did they win?
You'd expect Man United or Spurs to beat all them kind of teams. Do you know what I mean? Still,
not Spurs.
Well,
don't be silly. They're going out next week.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, goal check. There's a goal check at Roma. We're not waiting around for it, sadly, because we've got to shoot. And Johnny Brooks, we all got work tomorrow, but he's got it a little bit earlier than the rest of us. So we're going to depart, guys. But obviously, thank you very much, Jonathan, for coming on tonight, mate. Always good to see you on.
Yeah, cheers, lads. It's great being on. It's a great show you have going on. I have to say, it's great talking about Arsenal for an hour and a half every Thursday evening. So nothing better.
And promote. And do you want to promote your channel out again?
Yeah, the Dublin Arsenal YouTube channel, and we're also on Spotify as well. So if you can give us a look there, we put out our PSV review show out actually this evening. Martin Stumble that edited it for us. So if you can throw your eye on that on our YouTube channel, it'd be appreciated. Yeah, cheers, lads.
Cheers, thank you very much, mate. And obviously, thank you very much, Mr. Brooks, yet again.
No.
Stay humble.
And obviously, thank you to everyone who's obviously come in tonight and obviously contributed with the chats. Roma have won the game. They have scored in the last minute, and their goal has been given. So that is 2-1. So yeah, we're all off to drink some 7-Up. Good night.